Sometimes when you explain to theists that atheism is not necessarily the assertion that there is no God, rather it is essentially the lack of a belief in God and the lack of a temptation to believe in God, they will dismiss this as a lie. Because, they say, if we were simply not convinced that there's a God, we wouldn't be spending so much time arguing against theism. In reality, I wouldn't spend so much time arguing against theism if theists simply believed what they believed and left the rest of us alone. The reason why I argue against theism is because it seems like for many theists, simply believing in a God is not enough. A lot of the time they want everybody else to believe in it as well. They try to tell me why I should share their worldview and sometimes even assert that their worldview is more rational than mine. Then if we atheists simply explain the reasons why we are not convinced, we are then accused of being anti-theists. Let me explain why this is a non sequitur. I don't know if extraterrestrials exist. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But if the government tried to print textbooks that said that life on Earth was planted here by aliens, and if people lobbied the government for a constitutional amendment that defined marriage the way they thought aliens would want it to be defined, then even though I can't say for sure whether there are aliens out there or not, I'm going to point out the fact that we have no good reason to believe that they exist. And we certainly shouldn't be asked to organize our laws and our lives around the assumption that they do exist. If you want to believe that aliens exist and you want to live your life according to how you think aliens want you to live, you go right ahead. But if you tell me that I'm less rational because I don't share that worldview, I am going to respond. Don't act all fucking persecuted just because we offer a rebuttal to your arguments. Rebuttal is not persecution. And don't say, oh, you just argue against aliens because you're convinced that Earth is the only planet that has life. Or you say that you're simply not convinced that there's aliens, but in reality you hate aliens and you hate people who believe in aliens. Those are stupid arguments. Now there are some atheists who are anti-theists. But the mere fact that they argue against theism does not make them anti-theists. If somebody tells me that I should believe in God because of reasons X, Y, and Z, I am going to explain why I find those reasons to be unconvincing. Doing so does not make me an anti-theist. If you're a theist and an atheist persecutes you for being a theist, you have a right to stand up for yourself and for your beliefs. But if you are proselytizing and an atheist responds by making counter-arguments, that is not persecution.